We're just a small family of 3.
Do you want to put out some Cheez-Its?
We have probably seen a 30% increase in our grocery bill in the last 2 years.
Here in a deep red part of Pennsylvania, Ben McDuffie walks us through his family's monthly budget.
This is really down to the dollar.
Every dollar is meticulously monitored.
Just under $500 is what you have when you look at the budget left to spend every month.
Yeah.
Late last year, Ben lost his job working in financing for the auto industry.
Oh no, you got sent home.
He spent 3 months unemployed.
Any sense of how many jobs you applied for during those 3 months?
About 200.
Wow.
The job he landed at a local credit union in March was a $30,000 pay cut.
My wages in a full-time capacity should be able to support a basic level of life that I don't feel like we're able to do right now.
Frustrating.
Really frustrating.
Ben calls himself a Democrat, but isn't afraid to cross party lines.
I telephone campaigned in 2000 for John McCain, and I was excited about him.
In this election, he says all you have to do is look at his bills to understand. The economy is Democrats' biggest liability.
You are not living outside of your means. You and your wife have 2 jobs.
We both work full-time. We are not out wasting money. It shouldn't be this tight for how hard we work.
Our latest ABC News Washington Post Ipsos poll shows more than 85% of adults rank the economy and inflation as highly important for their vote for president, by far the 2 highest-ranking issues. And when it comes to handling the economy, former President Trump leads Vice President Harris by 9 points. It's a perception Harris knows she will need to reverse to win over voters in critical battleground states like Pennsylvania that could win her the presidency.
Costs are still too high. And on a deeper level, for too many people, no matter how much they work, it feels so hard to just be able to get ahead.
A handful of Biden-Harris administration policies have aimed to lower costs, from bringing insulin prices down to eliminating junk fees, a campaign the administration has turned into an attempt to ease American stress about high prices.
It was just one of the best days of my life. I'll never forget it.
3 hours southeast of Ben in Philadelphia,
Welcome to Winfield.
Catherine Gilmore Richardson says one single policy changed the financial calculus overnight for her family of 5.
We're packing up to go to school.
In October, her $102,000 in student loans
I received a Master's of Science in Administration.
disappeared.
You sign into your account, and what happens? You see the balance is 0?
I saw the balance was 0, and I said, let me refresh.
You didn't believe it.
I could not believe it.
As a city council member, Catherine qualified for the Public Service Loan Forgiveness Program after President Biden made major reforms.
Thanks to the reforms, more than 700,000 borrowers have had their debts forgiven.
That's a good one.
For Catherine, the administration's fixes to the loan program didn't just get her account processed.
I'll be back. I gotta head out to work, okay?
Her husband and sister, who also work in the public sector, had their debts forgiven too.
Between the 3 of us, we have about $270,000 in student loans that were forgiven.
Wiped away.
Wiped away. More than $250,000.
Catherine knows her experience is rare. Only about 1 in 10 student loan borrowers have seen their debts canceled.
Critics will say, I had to pay my own debt. Why should you have yours forgiven?
I didn't come from a rich family, and we had to work hard to make our way in order to try to attain that dream and receive an education that would help us move on in our lives. And so I understand that not everyone's debt has been forgiven, but I think this is an important step in the right direction to closing the racial wealth gap.
She says she's hopeful a change in messenger about the economy, from President Biden to Vice President Harris, will help Democrats sell economic success stories like hers.
Thank you, thank you, thank you.
Harris faces a steep challenge. The typical American household is spending $905 more per month now compared to 3 years ago because of inflation. But on average, wages are up $1,073 per month during that time.
Wages have grown faster than inflation, but those are averages. And so there will be people absolutely for whom that is not true.
Dr. Shearholtz, if I could start with you, please.
Thank you very much, Chair Warren, Ranking Member Kennedy, other members of the subcommittee.
Heidi Shearholz is the president of the Nonpartisan Economic Policy Institute. She says people notice a change in daily prices more than a change in their paycheck.
It's not front of mind when you get the big grocery bill, and that stings.
She points to how inflation has dramatically improved from its 9% peak in June 2022. But that doesn't mean prices are going down. They're just going up at a slower pace.
Even though people's wages have risen more than prices have risen, you still get sticker shock when you go to the grocery store.
For the first time, Catherine says she can afford one-on-one reading camp for her 2 youngest kids this summer.
We pushed her to get these scholarships.
And sending off her oldest daughter to college with everything she needs.
We often ask in polls, are you better off now than you were 4 years ago?
I am.
No hesitation.
No hesitation at all. I'm better off than I was 4 years ago.
Your answer to that question, are you better off compared to 4 years ago?
No, I'm not.
In a tale of two economies, Ben says he's not feeling any of the administration's economic policies. He'll still vote for Harris, begrudgingly, but he knows many voters like him will only have their bank accounts in mind come November.
The only thing that I think a lot of consumers feel is when they swipe their card at the gas pump, at the grocery store, buying back to school clothes, all of those items are more expensive than they were 4 years ago, and I think that's what resonates.